everyone, it is time for the next instalment of this video series from Johanna Basford's Wonderful Wildflowers. Oh, just need to adjust my book slightly. We're going to come in closer and have a look at our fifth little floral motif. These are just gorgeous, I think. They're just my favourite sort of little thing to colour. Just small and cute. Bit wonky. There we go. I just love them anyway. Right. Oh, just adjust my screen slightly. I'm getting neck ache looking up at it. There we go. Derwent Chromaflow as before. Now we've got these large open flowers and then these ones which look like they could be the same, but I'm going to colour them differently just so that we get a few different colours going. And we've got these little ones here as well. So we've got a nice little bunch and we've got our mushrooms. These have got little circles and dots on, which is interesting. So where shall we start? Well, let's have a look at the swatch chart and choose from there. I want to use some different colours that maybe I haven't used before in this particular series. Let's have a little looky. I think we've used those. We haven't used many yellows for flowers. Shall we do that? Shall I be daring? I'm thinking, let's use some of them are quite pale and some of them a bit orangey. I'm thinking I'm going to use the sandcastle. It's a little bit browner, more like an ochre-y type colour, but I think that'll be nice. And we'll do these three here. We'll just start there. It's a bit random. Where's my sharpener? Here it is, underneath my notebook, obviously. There we go. So let's just start colouring away. Yeah, it's got quite late, but I was waiting for everybody to be sorted before I came in, and I had loads of chores to do this morning. I got up first thing, emptied the dishwasher and restacked it, put it straight on. There was so much washing up. It should have been done last night, but I just ran out of pep. I sat down after tea and I looked at it and I thought, I can't do it. So I didn't, so I left it till this morning. And I was fine, I had lots of energy this morning, so that was good. Now, I'm thinking the centres of these, maybe I do them in a more browny colour. Is there a colour called sienna? There's sienna gold, it's a bit orangey. I might go, I'm going to try the golden sun. Is that, this is a little bit brownish. We'll see if it works. It might be too close. Anyway, so I did that. It's very exciting. And made some lunch boxes. One son and husband out today. Other son is his day at home. Did that. Sorted out the washing. Did the ironing. Husband brought down the washing, so I put it on. So there was a lot going on. I'm going to use the spice. I think we have used this one before for a toadstool. Yeah, because I showed you this break, which is a bit odd. Now I'm going to use this at the bottom of these just to give it a bit of a different look. I think it's quite nice to add a bit of, I don't know, it's just a little thing that I started doing. I like it. That's all I can say. It's a thing. I'm not going to do any of the greenery now. I'm going to have a think about mixing up the colours like we have been with our greens. So now we have these two and I'm thinking maybe I'll just go for, I have had a red. I was going to go for a bright red, but we've had red flowers. We've probably used everything really though. Let's go for, should we try the cardinal red? That's a different red that we haven't used. There it is. So this is a slightly more orangey red. Just going to sharpen it. Need to keep sharpening with these little images, same as in Small Victories. And here it is, cardinal red, and we're going to do these open ones. Yeah, so I'd managed to have my breakfast in between dishwasher and ironing. No, lunchbox and ironing. Then did a few jobs on my computer. Son went off to work. He leaves about 8:20. Then husband he takes a work meeting before he leaves. He was doing that at 9 o'clock. He's worrying about the roads. There were a lot of road closures, lots of backed up traffic and all sorts going on. Anyway, he eventually got off, and then my other son got up, so I had a natter with him and a coffee, well, a barley cup before coming up to do this. So I've been waiting, and I've been looking forward to coming up and recording. It was interesting because someone was talking, it was father-in-law I was talking to, and I said I was hoping husband would have a bit of a break from work over Christmas, you know. And he said, and you? And it made me think for a bit, and I thought, well, actually, I love what I do. What I'd like a break from is chores. I'd love to not have to do any cleaning or dishwasher or lunch boxes and all those sorts of things. This is lemon. I'm going to use this for the centres. It might be a bit too bright. We'll see how it looks when it goes down. Recording videos is my joy. It's not, I don't see it as work, you know. And I do it as much as I can because I really like it. I'm okay with that. Just plain, just lemon. I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to add some white dots probably on that one. So then that will change it up just a tad. Now we have these little tiny ones here. Now I've got to have a think. Do I do them orange and keep to this sort of scheme of colour? Or do I do them a really different colour? And I think a different colour, because we've got these mushrooms to do, and I'm going to do those in different colours, I think. So I'm going to do these in either purple or blue. I think I might go for the iris purple, and then I don't have to decide if I'm using purple or blue because it's a bluey purple. So I'm just cheating. Cheating? Not really. So here we go. Iris purple. It's hard to see, isn't it? Very small. And I'm going to try and fade to the tip. It's a bit, I think this is a bit like a periwinkle, almost blue colour. So there we go. So recording this quite a long way in advance, I saw Johanna's live yesterday, her first one, and she coloured a picture that I've already coloured on a video. One of the 9 flower circles. But the video hadn't gone out when her live went out, so I don't know whether people might not colour along with me on that one because they may have coloured along with her, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure in her next live, which is Wednesday, previous is gone, you've missed it, then she'll probably pick a different page. No, I see you've missed it. It's there on Facebook. If you want to find, I did share it on my Facebook, but so long ago, it'll be millions of posts away. What the best thing to do is to go to Johanna's Facebook page, and you can find it on there. It's a lot easier. But if you can't find it and you're desperate to see it, not message me, put a comment, sorry, I'll put the link in the comments if you need it. You may have all seen it. So yeah, those are cute. I think they're so delicately drawn. I know the others are the same size, but somehow I just like them. Centres. I really want to do a little bit of black and white. Now, I know they're really small, so I'm being a bit ambitious. We'll see what I can manage. So here's my black. Now I need sharpening, and it's really long, so I'm wondering if it's been sharpened in a electric sharpener. So black. Now my intention is to put a little black dot in the middle and leave a bit of a white outline. Oh yeah, that's working. Now if you find that difficult, you can always draw the white in with a white pen, but I got it to work, so I'm quite pleased. Now our toadstools. I want some blue ones. We did blue yesterday though, didn't we? These 3, I feel like they should be the same colour. We've done that with the flowers. We've done all the same colours. maybe we'll go for, we've got blue, I don't know. Maybe we will go for blue, but we'll use, because yesterday's, I really like these, but I can't do them the same, can I? I am going to use the Mariner. It's a different shade of blue. And I hope you forgive me for doing it so similarly, because I just like it. It's our last page with our last picture with toadstools on, actually. So here it is, the Mariner. Now we've got these little circles and dots, and you could try and colour around them. I'm going to try and fade this to the top, but I am going to try, but that's quite hard. But I'm actually going to use a white pen on those areas later anyway. I'm going to try and build up some colour in this corner here. I just feel like it might be darker. I don't know why. Now you could use a slightly different shade of blue for each one, so they look slightly different to each other, but I'm not. I'm going to use the same one, but I may end up using a second blue on top of some of it, but I may not. It depends how they look when I've finished. I'm trying to not colour the dots just so that I can see how they look rather than worrying about it. I know I can go over it with a white pen, and I will, but I just want to check how it looks with this amount of colour, whether it needs a bit more. I think it needs a bit more here. There we go. Now the stems, we can do them in a grey. We used a bluey grey yesterday, didn't we? I don't really want a browny grey though. I think I might use the slate grey. It's quite dark. I think it'll be a bit different. Give it a sharpen. This one's quite short. I don't know if it keeps breaking, but I think it's quite good for shadows. Maybe that's why. So here it is, slate grey. Now what I want to do is to make it darker up here. So put some more layers on. Can't even get it to right. There we go. And then less down there. Quite difficult to do, but just layer it up a bit more here so that it looks like we're getting some shadow from the cap. Okay, now we've got this one. Now I always find these with this bit over the top a little bit difficult to know what to do with. I'm thinking I'm going to go with browns, just a bit different, but not, I don't normally use like a normal brown, but I'm going to. So I'm going to use the natural brown. I need to sharpen it for this one. There we go, natural brown. And I'm going to put it on quite lightly because I can't imagine what it's going to look like yet. Well, and I'm looking at the fact that we've got this overlapping bit that might need some shadow and these little lines at the bottom and things like that, and what to do with it all. So what I'm going to do first is go around the base of this with a darker line to make that look a bit more 3D, and we can also go around that flower like that too. Then I'm thinking maybe we need some lines going up from here just to acknowledge those little bits there. And it looks a little bit more gnarly. Then I'm going to put a dark bit there. Just trying to make it so it's not so light. I was looking up something today. I couldn't find it anywhere for a video that I'm going to make. I wanted to know the name of something that was in one of the pictures. I'm not going to say now because you'll all tell me and it'll be no use to me because I'm making the video soon and it might even go out before this video goes out. I'm not quite sure of the timings. So it was driving me bananas, but it gave me something to do while I was waiting for everyone to go to work and everything else. Now the top bit I always feel should be a little bit lighter. I quite like the idea of doing it in a sort of eggshell colour because it looks like an eggshell. But I don't know whether that will just look very strange. I think maybe a brownish grey might be better. What have we got here? Maybe the Carolina Blue. Now this is a very old pencil. It's called Carolina Blue. It's got a blue tip, but it's really grey. And I'm going to try that on here. I don't feel that there is an awful lot of blue in this pencil. Now, I want it darker on the edges where this is overlapping as well, like that, so it looks a bit paler on the top. There we go. I'm okay with that. I'm going to use the same for the stem. I'm going to go a bit gentler though, because I want that central bit quite light, and I want to put a darker bit there. But I'm actually going to use the slate grey to put in some shadow on the stem. I think it will show up better. It's a much darker. So I have put a bit in there already, but I'm just going to overemphasize some of it like that. There we go. Now leaves. It's all the leaves. Now we don't have to do them all green, of course. This is Johanna yesterday in her live. She did orange and brown leaves and things. I'm thinking maybe this set of leaves I'd quite like to do in like a green gold type colour. Now we do have our chai colour, which we used a couple of days ago, and I think I'm going to use it again. Now I know it's a bit of repetition, but I think it will really balance with this yellow on this side. So my sort of eye is saying I want to do that. I was going to say my artistic eye. I don't feel like I'm artistic. Isn't it funny? Because I don't draw the pictures, I don't feel like I'm an artist. I feel like I'm a colourist. And I'm happy and absolutely fine with that. Because I would never want anyone to think that I made the pictures up or anything like that. I also don't feel like I have very original ideas. I feel like I tend to copy other people or water down their ideas or that sort of thing. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a nice balance. But we've got to do some leaves on this one. And I think maybe a muted colour. So I don't want something really bright like spring bud or grass green or jungle green. Something a little bit more muted. I'm thinking foliage is probably the answer. It's my answer to everything. I love it. It's probably my favourite colour. And I'm going to try and fade towards the tips of these little leaves. I did actually try and do that with these petals as well, but you can't really see it. I'll do it anyway, and if it doesn't show, it doesn't show. You could put a little... Oh, that's not that one. You could put a little bit... I'm going to colour that anyway, because it's going to be... I'll put another colour on top. You could put a little bit of a darker colour just on the base to make it that bit look a bit darker if you wanted, but I'm okay with it. I can just about see that there's some different colours in there, so that's absolutely fine. There we go. Now I want to do this one a bit darker, so I'm just going to grab the leaf green. Where are you, leaf green? There you are. Now leaf green is really dark, so be very careful. Don't just plaster it on. I was sharpening it because it's just, I just want to put a little layer on, and so don't press hard. It's much easier to gently build up layers, so just put a little bit there and fade it up. I want to just put on enough so that it looks like it's a different colour without it looking silly dark, and I think that's fine. She says putting a bit more on. Right. So now we've basically got these large leaves and these little leaves. I'm going to deal with the little ones first. They're right next to our flowers, so I want something that's going to sort of match the flowers. I know we shouldn't necessarily be matching, but I feel like a more bluey green. So we've got our tropical rain, which is quite blue. It's a little bit too blue for me. Mint leaf and green meadow and jungle green, those are all bluey greens, but I'm not going to do those. I could do the pine green, the basil, or the pastel mint. I think I'll do the pine green. I think, yeah, here it is, pine green. I feel like we've probably used all the greens a lot of times already, because apart from the really yellowy ones, which I might use for these. I'll have a think in a minute. Yes, because there's not so many, and there's lots of leaves in these particular little pictures. So yeah, we have been using rather a lot. So I'm trying to just build up some layers near the bottom of the leaf, a bit less to the tip, so that there we go. Yeah, I think that's fine. The bigger leaves, I'm just trying to imagine. I can't, I'm just going to have to go for it. Let's grab the light olive first. Very teeny, this one just did keep breaking. So a little bit, and this is quite dark. This is a very dark colour, despite being called light. It's quite strange. So like that, so you fade it quite quickly. It's nice having a dark base, but you don't want it to be really, really dark, like that. There, and like that. Then I'm going to go for the olivine, which is a slightly sort of lighter version, I guess. And we're going to go over what we've done carefully, not too hard. I don't want it massively darker. And fade it a bit, and the same with this one. And then we have our last one here to do. I've been thinking about Christmas colouring. It feels like it's too soon to start thinking about it, but I know that I need to. This is foliage, because I like to get quite a bit done. Quite a bit Christmassy stuff is nice. So I've pulled out my books, told you that already. I found probably my first picture to do. So that's a good start. And I've got a few other ideas as well. So yeah, it's sort of coming together in my head, the planning. Now we're going to go for one of these lighter greens. I think the key lime is probably a good one. Here it is, key lime. Now I'm going to go over everything with this. Just to pull it all together. And it sort of lightens and brightens all of it, which is nice. And then I will have a look and see what I'm going to do to finish it off, because I want to add some touches of shadow to some areas, and I'm just trying to decide what colour to use. I think I've got the black here, I'm going to use that. It's a bit daring using a black, but we'll see. So what I'm thinking of is down here we've got this big cluster, a bit more shadow around these petals. I'm just going to outline them with a little bit of black. You need to be careful with black, because you know it's quite a harsh colour and it can smudge and look dirty if you're not if you're not careful. That was exciting. So I'm trying to just put a little bit and in between these two, just to indicate some shadows so it doesn't all look flat. There we go. Maybe we need a tad down here, like that. I think under here needs a little bit more. I think we used, I can't remember what colour I used there, but there we go. That's better. Now I'm going to get out my white pen, the Jelly Roll 10. Now we're going to do these, oops, messy. There we go. They show up much better when you put the white on compared to if you just leave them uncoloured. And I'm going to put some little dots all the way around the flower centres here, like this. But I also want a few dots on this mushroom just there. I don't know why, I just feel like it needs a little bit. You can barely see it. These I'm happy with the white that I'd left, but you could draw that white in, be much brighter. But I'm worried that I'm going to mess it up, but I'm going to have a go anyway. Because such a small line, yes, I could do with getting a pen with a smaller nib, and I do have one. But there is, I've really not done very much, but there we go. Last thing I want to do, I'm going to sharpen my natural brown really sharp. There it is. Natural brown. I'm going to try really hard not to smudge the white pen, and I'm going to put a few dots at the bottom of these. I just feel like I want to dot. You could use a brown gel pen for this. I do have one, but I haven't got it in here. So I'm trying to do it with pencil, which is quite tricky. But there we go. That's it. Yeah, maybe not worth the effort. I don't know. But there is our little one done. So that is our next one done. I think that was so cute. Really prettily drawn, so I had a lot of fun with that one. Next one, we have a huge amount of flowers, and we have some ones that I've now coloured. There's some leaves that are really different, so some new shapes of flowers from Johanna, so that'd be interesting. But for now, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.